I thought I would talk you through how I did my indoor rabbit cage, because I made mine up. Like quite a lot of rabbit owners are now kind of making their own kind of customised cage. So my main problem was a lot of the rabbit cages, including the one that I had, were just so broad and bulky that it meant we've got quite a narrow hallway, and to get any bags or anything past it had to be like some sort of Mission Impossible style crawling and pulling and things just to get something past. So I wanted something that was neater against the wall but actually a lot bigger, so a lot taller and a lot wider, so she could get a lot more exercise when she was in her cage, because not all the time she could be out about the house when I wasn't in and stuff. And it's nice to know that she can jump up and down these levels. So I started off, I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. I started with making the base. Now I went to a hardware store, in particular it was B&Q here, mainly because they do a free cutting service where they'll do up to 15 cuts, or if you smile, a couple more, for free. So I went with my specs that I'd already designed, and they kind of cut it to whatever size I wanted. So I got sheet wood to cut the base and the levels, and I got some, I think it's kind of skirting board style material, or kind of, I don't know, what I made the lip out of. So that brought me right up to, I think, maybe 16 or 17 cuts. To do the actual cage itself, I used these, which I knew nothing about until I went onto rabbit forums, and they all enlightened me that these are perfect for making your cages or making runs or making anything. They're kind of storage facilities. I'll find out exactly what I Google search them as and put it down in the wee description below. But these are 35 centimetres by 35 centimetres, so that was an ideal width for my cage that I wanted. So I did it as 35, so that was 1 by 3 in kind of length, so that's what, 105 centimetres in length. So you know for your base you want it at least 105 by 35. Now, because I was putting lipping around the edge of this to kind of give it a lip for the cage to sit inside, you have to add on 2 times that thickness, because you want it on both sides and then on both sides, so it's 2 times and then 2 times. So instead of 35 by 105, it was about 50 by 120. So I just worked out what I wanted. Now again, your cage might be completely different, or might be slotted to fit somewhere else, so just do them to whatever specs. But you're slightly constricted by the fact that each of these panels are 35 by 35. So, and also some of them that you can do are toxic. Go on the rabbit forums, find out which ones. There's so many links that don't have this kind of toxic galvanised paint on them, so just double check for yourself. Again, with wood, check what wood is suitable for rabbits. Things like MDF and stuff, the glue in MDF is quite bad for them, chipwood and things like that. So if they are watched, it, they're not going to be able to get in and eat it, so you're going to have to cover it or do something. I covered these levels by using carpet tiles that I got again in B&Q, and just cut them with a Stanley knife to shape. These are good because it meant you could take them out and give them a good hoover, or every so often you could replace them. She tipped over a water bowl once, and it meant that I could take it out and dry it properly, and then if it was beginning to get a little bit it's been wet for too long type thing, I could just replace it. I was actually just going to replace these before a rabbit unfortunately died. So these are a little bit grotty now. They were a good few months old. I would replace them every 5 months or so, just to make them nice. It was in the hallway, so as soon as people would come into your house as well, they were greeted with a rabbit cage, so I wanted it to look nice. I would suggest maybe putting some sort of base inside your base that you can remove and give a good clean, and also remove. So maybe a rectangular bit of wood with a wee notch cut out so you could get your finger in to lift it up. So you could replace it if it was the case that they had any accidents or anything, and wood absorbs things. Or you could maybe tile it, and then you could remove it every so often and give it a really good wipe down. Because I used newspaper and I was having to change her cage so many times just to make sure that it was staying to a good, healthy kind of speck and not getting kind of damp or anything. She was, you know, potty trained and everything, but you always have accidents when they're not well and stuff. To make the cage itself, I did the back panel, which is 3x3. These side panels, one side and the other side, which is 3x1. And the front panel, which was 3x3, just like the back panel. I put them all together with cable ties, and I put the back panel and the two side panels together and then folded them the way I was going to have them. And I put this whole front section on the ground. And I cable tied the bottom of the front section to it, and then lifted the first level up and slotted in this first kind of wee demi level. And then I lifted up the next section and then slotted in this, kind of opened it up, slotted it in, closed it, opened it up, slotted that wee guy in, cable tied it, and then lifted up the next section and slotted in this, closed it and cable tied it. That's only because I was doing it by myself. If you got someone else, so much easier and quicker. But I was trying to lift things and keep it up and put things in. To keep these levels up, they're not actually attached to the cage. The best and most secure way I thought about doing it was putting doweling. So underneath, these have got these bits of doweling which are actually secured on by hot glue, but the hot glue is completely concealed underneath it, so Poppet couldn't get in and start eating the glue because, again, toxic. And they came out by maybe about 4 or 5 centimetres. So, well, actually not that much, maybe about 3 centimetres on either side, so they couldn't unlodge themselves. When she's running up and down, the cage does kind of shake a wee bit, and I didn't want it to ever collapse at all, so just overshoot them. So they slot into one side, and then they slot, when you close this bit of the cage, they slot into the other side and they cannot come out. And the top level was done just by these 2 more cubes, and then this wee guy, which was only temporary because I couldn't count and I didn't get enough cubes. So, I made my cage $2,000 and I ran out by 1 cube. So I ordered another packet, which is what we use for, like, if we've got a Christmas tree, we put the caging around it to put all the presents inside so she doesn't get in and eat all the wrapping paper. But we used this, the bottom of a crate, a plastic crate. We again used a cable tie just to secure it on, and used these wee sandwich clips, sandwich bag clips to keep it closed. And that's where we would feed her every morning and every night. So she would have her food bowls and stuff here, she'd have her water bottle here, and then in the last couple of months she would have a water bowl every so often because she'd get quite thirsty because it was summertime. She loved this, so we didn't replace it, mainly because we've got downlighting in the hallway, so we've got like spotlights, and this created quite a nice soft lighting little wee boudoir kind of penthouse bit, so she really liked that. Also, where the cage was situated in the hallway, there was a panel of glass right behind this section, and that could look through into the living room and through to the TV. So she would have a nice wee penthouse where she could eat her food. It was nice mood lighting because it was a wee bit red and a little bit sheltered, and she could watch TV without having to actually come and see us at all. So, yeah, this is the best setup for me. You can make it any weird Tetris shape that you want, as I say, and there's probably millions of other ways to do it, probably better ways of doing it, but as I say, this was the best way for me. I just thought I would make this video because when I was doing it, there wasn't much on the ways of how to do it now. I'm a jeweller by trade, so I'm quite good at working out how to construct things. So I found this relatively easy to work out in my brain, but some other people it isn't as easy. To do the door, I just went in at the very end and unclipped the cable ties that I made up to construct it. And we just have this one here because it originally had two cable ties, a cable tie here and a cable tie here, to make it quite a nice moving door. But for some reason, when they broke, I only put one on because I was really lazy. So this moves around a lot more than what it used to. And then I used to just lift it up and pull it out. And then to close it, put it in, and then this lip would protect it perfectly. If you were going out, I would suggest putting a sandwich clip or some sort of clip, because now that makes it really secure. So that is how we did it. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like, please share to anyone who has rabbits or any forums, because I just would like other people to know how to do this, because this was a great setup for her. It gave her lots of exercise, it gave her lots of spaces to go hide in the dark and stuff, so it was a really ideal environment, and other rabbits should live like this. Rather than being in a small confined cage, especially if they're in the cage during the day at all, for any length of time. So this was lovely, and we live in a small flat, and this was perfect. So it actually was better than using any normal cage that didn't fit our tiny space. So yes, please comment below whether you think it was good, or whether you think it's bad, whether you think I'm a complete and utter numpty for doing it this way. Just say and like and share. Thank you very much. Bye.